It's Wednesday, July 22nd. In the headlines in local news, CXC to launch region-wide sessions on new SBA assessment changes. In business news, increased gas prices causing inflation fears. Regionally, a call for equitable cancer care in the Caribbean. And in sports, young reggae boys target first FIFA Under-20 World Cup since 2001. This is the news on PBC Jamaica. I'm Brittany Clark. The Caribbean Examinations Council, CXC, will roll out sensitization sessions across its 21 member territories to help stakeholders understand upcoming changes to its school-based assessment SBA framework. Speaking to the press this week, Director of Operations at CXC, Nicole Manning, explained that these sessions will clarify the transition to Paper 032 for non-practical based subjects and provide guidance on how the new assessment will work. Under the revised framework, candidates will receive assessment topics about 1 month before the examination and will be allowed to bring reference notes into the exam room. Dr. Manning said CXC will also publish frequently asked questions, host live webinars, and work through local registrars to address concerns and ensure stakeholders understand the reforms. The changes are intended to strengthen the integrity of the CXC qualifications in response to the growing use of generative artificial intelligence and other technological advances. CSEC students will have the option of completing either the traditional SBA or Paper 032 in 2027 before the new assessment becomes mandatory for non-practical based subjects in 2028. CAPE candidates will transition to Paper 032 for those subjects beginning with May to June 2027 exams. Jamaicans are being reminded that only those persons who produce farm products for commercial use are being encouraged to register with the Rural Agricultural Development Authority, RADA. Agriculture Minister made a post on social media responding to concerns being voiced due to misinformation.
There is no truth that you need to register with RADA to plant in your backyard. There is no truth that you need to register with RADA when you're getting things for your own personal consumption. Nothing of the sort. No law, no say so. No go so. A lie, them a tell.
Farmers are being encouraged to register to create an official record of commercial farmers. This improves the traceability of agricultural produce, supports access to government programs and services, and strengthens efforts to combat predial larceny.
It is only there to ensure that when the police stop you with commercial quantities, then you can prove that you are a real farmer. But if you're in your backyard planting to consume in your house, you don't need to register with RADA for that. In fact, we are encouraging that or more you to plant in your backyard. That's why over 5,000 backyard garlic kits we've given out. So you see, if you don't hear it from me, no listen to them when I'm telling nothing about agriculture.
The Office of Disaster Preparedness and Emergency Management, ODPEM, says it has accepted the findings of the Auditor General's reports into its handling of Hurricane Melissa and is taking steps to address the weaknesses identified. The agency says while the scale of the disaster placed unprecedented pressure on its operations, reforms are already underway to strengthen accountability, logistics, disaster response, and public confidence. Director General Commander Alvin Gale and Board Chairman Trudy Deans outlined the corrective measures during a JIS special interview.
In the interview, ODPEM Director General Alvin Gale says despite the unprecedented demands of Hurricane Melissa, it successfully coordinated a whole-of-government response involving more than 126 local and international agencies, while overseeing key recovery programs, including the government-directed roof repair program.
We welcome the real-time audit into the Hurricane Melissa initiative. For us, we've generally accepted the identified gaps from the other general, and we have been working, as is our job, to close those gaps. So we welcome the reports. It does give us some strategic insight into the underbelly of our own operations under strain. So we are able now to, relying on those reports and other things that we have seen for ourselves, build better as we go forward for future operations.
Board Director Trudy Deans adds that the organization has acknowledged long-standing weaknesses highlighted by the Auditor General and has already begun implementing corrective measures. She says investigations into the most serious findings are nearing completion.
Some of the things that came out in the Auditor General's report also came out in that review that was done immediately after Beryl. Unfortunately, the report was presented, I think, in June or July, and then a couple months after that, we had Hurricane Melissa. So we acknowledge the weaknesses. We are fixing them, and we have begun investigations in some of the matters that are really serious. And once those investigations are completed, then the necessary actions according to due process will take place. So anybody who is culpable will be held responsible.
Commander Gale shares that the agency has already strengthened its inventory and documentation systems, established the National Disaster Fund Committee, and enhanced logistics oversight as part of broader reforms to improve future disaster response.
We did uncover or discover some gaps in how we would have been treating with, and you mentioned a while ago, the documentation surrounding inventory. Those were two particular matters identified in the AG's report, and we have put in stronger measures to ensure operationally that at all points of delivery onto these forward operating bases manned by the JF, that an ODPEM rep will be there to cause for the counter-signing of the receipts to occur. So it wasn't a matter of material having gone missing. It was in that particular report a matter concerning us having counter-signed on all the delivery receipts. Notwithstanding broader matters around warehousing inventory matters, we have also moved the logistics and warehousing department directly into the executive office, so they now report directly to the Director General. And we've also had assigned from the Jamaica Defense Force a staff which has operational and logistics experience to help us to move forward with all our warehousing policies and to put measures in place to ensure that once we face the public again, that the more robust measures would have already been in place.
The agency says it is also planning a broader reconstructing that includes a national disaster logistics hub and greater technical capacity to improve preparedness for future emergencies.
Sangster International Airport in Montego Bay welcomed the inaugural Liat Air flight from Guadeloupe on Tuesday, marking the launch of a new twice-weekly service between the two destinations. The year-round route will operate on Tuesdays and Saturdays and is the latest addition to the airport's expanding network of regional and international flights. Chief Executive Officer of MBJ Airports Limited, Shane Monroe, said the new service strengthens connectivity between Jamaica and the Eastern Caribbean and supports the airport's strategy to attract new airlines and destinations. Time now for the Business Report with Denise Williams.
Welcome to today's Business Report. I'm Denise Williams, bringing you the developments shaping markets, capital access, and business decision-making across Jamaica and the region. Let's get into the stories that matter. Economic analysts shared a warning that last week's $12.50 increase in automotive diesel prices, together with the upcoming increase in toll rates, is likely to drive transportation costs even higher. Speaking to RJR News, they say the higher costs could add further pressure to inflation, which increased 0.8% in June compared with May, while the 12-month inflation rate rose 6.7%, exceeding the Bank of Jamaica's target rate of 4 to 6%. According to the Statistical Institute of Jamaica, the rise in June inflation was driven mainly by a 4.3% increase in the transport index over the 12 months to June. The transport index climbed 7.3%. According to the latest business and consumer confidence indices, business confidence is up by 2.3%, according to the survey, involving 116 firms. Presenting the data Tuesday morning, Don Anderson, chairman of Market Research Services Limited, said even though there has been an increase in business confidence in the second quarter, business confidence is still lagging behind 2025 and beyond. I quote, "But that's the pattern over the years. Businesses aren't as erratic as consumers, for want of a better word," he said, adding that, and I quote, "there is a jagged edge to each of the years, but not another peak that you saw consumers responding to political pressure, political promises, etc." End quote. That said, consumer confidence has fallen by 2.3%. Anderson pointed to increases in the cost of living and consumers having a less positive view of business condition as being among the reasons for the drop. I quote, "Fewer and fewer persons are considering that the current business conditions are good," he noted. For the trading period of July 21, 2026, the most actively traded securities were Trans-Jamaica Highway Limited with 7,197,608 units, representing 27.62% of market sales. Lasco Financial Services Limited with 1,927,207 units, representing 7.39% of market sales. Trans-Jamaica Highway Limited US dollar shares with 1,530,641 units, representing 5.87% of market sales. Investor activity remained concentrated in transportation, finance, and distribution plays, signaling continued interest in dividend-producing and strategic assets. Turning to the foreign exchange market based on Bank of Jamaica data for July 21, 2026. Forex traders recorded significant activity with strong demand across major currencies. For the US dollar, trading margins reflected steady liquidity, with the US selling at $159.63 and buying at $157.49. For the Canadian dollar, moderate gains supported by 49-cent transaction spreads. The Canadian dollar sold for $113.40 and was bought for $112.91. For the British pound, continued volatility offered short-term trading opportunities of 63 cents in profits for the banks. The British pound sold for $212.61 and was bought for $211.98. These movements underscore the importance of cash flow timing and currency awareness for businesses managing import costs, debt servicing, or overseas exposure. For our credit report tip of the day, many people believe real estate wealth begins with finding the perfect property. In reality, it often begins with earning a lender's confidence. Your credit report is one of the first documents a lender reviews. It reflects your financial habits, influences how much you can borrow, and affects the cost of financing. The stronger your credit profile, the greater your ability to seize opportunities when they arise. If expanding your real estate portfolio is one of your goals, don't wait until you're ready to apply for a mortgage. Make reviewing and improving your credit report part of your investment strategy. Strong credit doesn't just help you buy property, it helps you build a portfolio. In our funded and focused feature, the most resourceful entrepreneurs don't ask, "Who will lend me money?" They ask, "What assets do I already have?" Business financing is often in hiding in plain sight. It may be retained earnings that can be invested strategically, the cash value of a permanent life insurance policy, or strong customer relationships that support pre-orders or retainers, supplier credit, unpaid invoices, a loyal crowdfunding community, or partnerships that can bring both capital and expertise. The goal isn't simply to borrow more, it's to become more resourceful with the assets, relationships, and opportunities already within your reach. The strongest businesses don't depend on a single source of capital. They build multiple pathways to fund growth. And that's today's business report. I'm Denise Williams, bringing clarity to capital, markets, and strategy. Until next time, stay informed, stay intentional, and keep building forward. See you soon.
In regional news, Caribbean leaders are being urged to work together to improve cancer care across the region, with a renewed call for treatment that is equitable, compassionate, and accessible to all. The appeal came from the Bahamas Consul General, Dr. Elaine Monica Davis. Ayana Carter has more in this TTT News report.
We continue to confront late diagnoses, limited access to specialized services, workforce shortages, gaps in cancer registries, financial barriers, and uneven access and inequitable access to treatment and supportive care.
Highlighting the medical divide in cancer care across the Caribbean, Dr. Elaine Monica Davis, speaking at the 14th Annual Symposium of the Caribbean Association for Oncology and Hematology, stressed the urgent need for cancer prevention screening within the region as rates continue to rise annually. United Nations Resident Coordinator in Trinidad and Tobago, Joanna Kazana, underscored the disparities that continue to shape cancer treatment outcomes, noting that the burden falls most heavily on those who are financially constrained.
And this burden of diseases is very uneven, falling more heavily on men, on lower income households, on rural communities, and on families caring for older relatives. This is why health inequality is such an important problem.
Ms. Kazana shared statistics on cancer in Trinidad and Tobago, warning that cases are projected to rise.
According to WHO data, a person in this country faces roughly a 1 in 5 probability of dying between the ages of 30 and 70 from cardiovascular disease, cancer, or diabetes, or chronic respiratory disease. This is way too early. But encouragingly, that risk has declined since the turn of the century. Nevertheless, progress has slowed down over the past decade.
She noted that if not addressed, cancer cases will increase globally to 35 million annually by 2050.
Nearly 4 in 10 cancers worldwide are linked to risk factors that we can influence. And this, everybody knows, is about tobacco use, it's about alcohol consumption, it's about sugar consumption and salt, and connected with obesity, connected with physical inactivity.
She emphasized that prevention remains the most affordable option for small island developing countries in the fight against cancer, urging clinics and healthcare professionals to prioritize accessible screening and intervention.
We know that closing of the inequality gap happens in your clinics. It happens in every diagnosis made in time and every patient not turned away because they cannot afford the treatment.
As such, the United Nations, in partnership with several regional health entities, are advancing data-driven strategies for cancer control, treatment access, and technology initiatives designed to integrate seamlessly with early detection and prevention efforts. I'm Ayana Carter with your TTT News Health Check.
Guyana has declared 3 days of national mourning following the deadly capsizing of the MV Barima as the death toll rises and dozens of people remain missing. Authorities say search and rescue operations are continuing with regional support, while an independent investigation has been promised into the tragedy. More in this report.
In an update to Guyanese media, Guyana's Prime Minister, retired Brigadier Mark Phillips, confirmed that 41 bodies have been recovered since the 80-year-old passenger vessel, the MV Barima, capsized off the coast of Guyana on Saturday. He noted that 179 passengers were ascertained to be on board the vessel at the time of the incident. To date, 77 persons have been rescued, while 63 remain missing. Up to news time, Prime Minister Phillips confirmed that the number of deaths stood at 41, 10 of which have yet to be identified.
And we've been able to positively identify 23 bodies so far. And that is the state of things right now as it pertains to bodies. Over the last couple of hours or so. We're still trying to receive any reports, and outside of that, for the one figure, we haven't had an updated report saying that there are more bodies. So 41 is the figure so far.
Search and rescue efforts continue, with Trinidad and Tobago's Ministry of Defense confirming that 20 personnel and 7 additional divers are expected to arrive in the South American country to provide additional assistance. The ministry noted that members of the Trinidad and Tobago Defense Force and Trinidad and Tobago Coast Guard were deployed and ably assisting in search and recovery efforts. Prime Minister Phillips, meanwhile, assured that no stone will be left unturned and an inquiry into this tragedy will be launched.
An incident of this nature will demand further investigations in the interest of transparency. Bringing closure to the family is not just recovering bodies and, assisting them with burial. Everybody in Guyana will want to know what led to this incident, what may have been the causes of this incident. And government is obligated to have an independent investigation done into this incident.
Meanwhile, Guyana's President Dr. Irfan Ali has proclaimed 3 days of national mourning in honor of the victims of the MV Burima tragedy. From Wednesday, July 22nd to Friday, July 24th, the national flag will be flown at half-mast on government buildings and other appropriate locations. National days of prayer, remembrance and reflection will be held during that time. Religious organizations, civic groups and citizens across Guyana are being encouraged to host candlelight vigils and moments of prayer during the mourning period. Ayana Carter, TTT News.
Chinese-made vehicles are gaining ground in Barbados, with several major dealerships expanding their offerings as demand grows for more affordable, feature-rich and electric vehicle options. CBC's China Haynes reports on the shift that's reshaping the island's auto market.
Chinese vehicles are now arriving through some of the island's most established dealerships in a shift that is changing the conversation around what Barbadians drive and why. Courtesy Garage sells GAC and has introduced Cherry. Inchcape Barbados has Shangan. Megapower has Radara. Automotive Art Motors is selling BYD. Car Barbados has a range of Chinese options from GWM, while NASCO Barbados is now bringing in JQ and Amoda.
The biggest factor, for introducing the Chinese brands, at the end of the day, is value for money. And the features that they come with compared to, say, your legacy brands like Toyota, Honda, Nissan, and those other brands. China has dominated with electric vehicles. They're the largest EV producer, and that's just the direction that the world is going in right now.
For the dealerships, it's about responding to a more price and energy-conscious customer while still offering features buyers expect, including updated interiors, safety technology, and warranty support. At Megapower, the focus includes electric mobility, with Radara adding to the growing EV conversation in Barbados.
The myth that EVs are unreliable, that EVs have challenges, and that myth has been busted. They are actually the most reliable, and for the market itself, they're coming with the best warranties that you're seeing in market.
Car Barbados offers after-sales packages and lower running costs to customers.
The cost to operate a fully electric vehicle versus your conventional ICE or internal combustion engine vehicle, it's about a 75% reduction on running costs.
Automotive Art Motors has already been pushing BYD, one of the better-known Chinese vehicle brands globally.
The BYDs do a really good job at giving you a lot of features for the price point, and that's something you can kind of show to the customer as a selling feature. It's more so about the safety. You can pitch people on the features for sure, because you get a lot of them for the price point of the vehicle, but it's more so on how reliable and safe the battery is.
Inchcape Barbados notes that local consumers are increasingly open to trying something new.
Since launching the Deepal brand here in May of 2025, we have officially delivered 39 Deepal units across the island. That's 39 customers who made the bold decision to step into the future with us. This performance positions us as one of the fastest growing EV brands on the island and a key part of the region's transition toward intelligent, sustainable mobility.
And Courtesy, which recently introduced Chinese brand GAC, is excited about its newest line, Cherry.
I would say that obviously we know that Barbados has actually embraced Chinese vehicles. We can see that. And we don't expect any less for this Cherry brand. And so, yeah, we have high hopes, you know.
With more of these vehicles now entering flagship showrooms, Chinese brands may be moving firmly into the mainstream. China Haynes, CBC News.
In sports, we spotlight football. Jamaica's under-20 men's football team will be aiming to end a 25-year FIFA World Cup qualification drought when they compete in the CONCACAF Under-20 Championship. The young Reggae Boys, who swept all 5 matches in February's qualifying tournament in Curaçao, have been drawn in Group C alongside Honduras, Panama, and Canada. The top 2 teams will advance to the quarterfinals with a place in the FIFA Under-20 World Cup at stake for the quarterfinal winners. Jamaica last qualified for the FIFA Under-20 World Cup in 2001 and has failed to reach the tournament in its last 11 attempts. With the FIFA World Cup 2026 concluded, attention now turns to the CONCACAF Nations League, with Trinidad and Tobago set to compete in League A. With the official draw set for Thursday, Derek King and his men will be hoping for a suitable outcome. We have more from Wayne Cunningham.
The official draw for the 2026-2027 CONCACAF Nations League has been confirmed by CONCACAF for a live event on Thursday, July 23rd in Miami. The draw will determine the groups for Leagues A, B, and C of the 2026-2027 CONCACAF Nations League. As has become customary, the draw will be conducted using the CONCACAF men's national team rankings, with the Confederation's 41 participating member associations allocated into the leagues A, B, and C, drawn pots based on their ranking. The remaining 12 participating teams have been divided into 6 pots and will be drawn into 2 groups. Trinidad and Tobago has been drawn into Pot 3 of the League A with Guatemala. Teams from Pot 1 through the final pot will be drawn and assigned to their corresponding group positions. League A will use 6 pots, each containing 2 teams. 1 team from each pot will be drawn into the corresponding position in Group A, with remaining teams assigned to the same position in Group B. The Nations League draw will be live on TTT from 7 p.m. on Thursday. Wayne Cunningham, TTT Sports.
We look to cricket. Shimron Hetmyer struck an unbeaten 69 to lead the West Indies to a 2-wicket victory over New Zealand in the 5th and final one-day international on Tuesday. Hetmyer shared a crucial 95-run partnership with Sherfane Rutherford, who made 61 as the West Indies chased down New Zealand's 268 for 9, reaching 269 for 8 with 15 balls to spare. Despite the win, New Zealand claimed the 5-match series 3-2 after securing victories in the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th matches. The West Indies won the opening and final game, and the result also meant that all 5 matches in the series were won by the team batting second. That's the news on PBCJ. You can follow us on our social media platforms at PBCJamaica. Thanks for watching.